don't know. I probably should do that too, actually.
And we're here. Sorry for the delays, guys.
So,
Owen's
yeah.
schedule
Okay.
affected stuff.
Okay. I'm very transparent when it comes to this network and always have been. So let me just put it this way without going into details. Let's just say I worked over tonight and I had to run 4 miles. Then I had to walk home and then I had to shower and look presentable for you guys on camera. So now this is what I look like. And this is the reason why we're 40 minutes later than I wanted to be tonight. So welcome, everyone. That's a cold open, SNL style. My name is Owen. Joining me, as always, we have Ashley.
Yes, it begins again.
It does begin. And also joining me, as always, we have AJ.
Yes, I am.
Yes. So every year, it seems like he's a lot more of a soundbite, and it works. Sometimes he'll just talk your head off. Sometimes he'll just talk in sound bites. Just really depends. This year is going to be a year I'll shoot with you guys, unless I start picking it up sooner rather than later. I'm just going to be like, this is my presentation for this year. I don't know what's going on. This is what I think may or may not win based on my sheer thoughts and only those.
So we might
see
actually be swaying Owen somewhat by giving opinions on things, unless it's involving the only film we've seen so far that's from the award season.
I'm a tad biased when it comes to that movie, so we'll go with that a little bit later. So now we're going to go into our first. That's right, as Ashley said it before, it does begin. The competition between the three of us to determine who's better at predicting the award season begins tonight with the first award season next week of the Golden Globes.
2 weeks.
I'm done. Bye.
We're just catching it ahead of time before the marathon of March and April happens. Because
my schedules are a week in advance, so my next week's schedule will be the Golden Globe schedule. That's the reason why I was saying that.
Yeah. The really handy thing.
That's the reason why I said that.
The really handy thing by everything getting screwed up to affect all the schedules. The Golden Globes are literally followed by the Critics' Choice Awards and then all 4 of the guilds.
And the great thing about the Critics' Choice Awards, if I remember correctly, Ashley, that's the video for next Saturday.
Probably.
Our Critics' Choice prediction.
That makes sense, because considering that from next Saturday will be 2 weeks away as well. That seems to fit.
Next week is going to be the Critics' Choice predictions. All right.
Yeah.
So that being said, let's get started, shall we? We are now onto the road to the Oscars, and that starts with the Golden Globes this time around. And as AJ knows, and I'm sure he'll smile when I say this, Golden Globes mean golden arches, which means it's time for me to start getting food corresponding with the award show that I'm going to be watching. So it has a different meaning now that I'm walking places, even more so than before. So I can actually go get stuff now. It's great. Anyway, let's get into our Golden Globes predictions. Now, I'll say this again for everyone in or watching back, I'm taking take anything I say with a grain of salt, because honestly, I'm just going to guess. I won't even lie. I'm just guessing at this point. But this, for all intents and purposes, is basically going back to how August was, or what it would have been in a normal season, where we're just kind of throwing darts to see what sticks at this point. Because we don't have anything we really can go with. So we're seeing what we do. Now we're getting to televised award shows. That being said, let's get into the Golden Globes, shall we? We have Bry Guy in chat. We have Smurfy Boy in chat. The big news of the film industry this week, the end of Blue Sky Studios. Surprised it took this long. Sadly. Seems like it's going to fall by the wayside. And there's going to be a legitimate remake to The Wizard of Oz. AJ, you have to have thoughts on this.
Remind me again I know who's doing it, but I can't remember.
Kayfabe.
Hmm?
Go ahead.
What's happening?
Yeah, I want to know what's happening.
I hope I'm not the only one right now that knows that AJ cannot be heard.
Okay.
I can't hear him at least.
That's confusing because he's on
Are
my
we
end.
are we here?
I can't hear Ashley either, so that's a great sign.
Oh. Come back in and out the call if you can.
Oh, I
Owen.
can't hear anything.
Oh, great. Not that bombshell. Don't worry, AJ. I'm trying to look up and see what the hell's going on with Wizard of Oz because that is the first that I've been made aware of this.
I know I heard who's doing it, but I can't remember who it is now.
See, now I need to look it up. Oh, Nicole Cassell from the Watchmen series. She's going to be directing, apparently. For New Line Cinema. Jeez, they're still trying to milk a dead horse after the Hobbit films, aren't they?
I guess the easy thing to say would be like no comment until I see it, I guess.
Yeah. Then we can rip into it. Wait for AJ's hot take on music coming up in the next 60 minutes or so.
I will say, music and Judas and the Black Messiah is one of the weirdest double features you could possibly have.
Wow. Okay. Right. So I'm guessing we're probably starting on the TV, just so I know where to copy and paste the mock ticks in the spreadsheet.
Yeah, we'll start in the supporting categories.
Mm-hmm.
So, one thing I wanted to mention, of course, before we started, is that especially in TV, the Globes are kind of that thing where there's no real strategy. Like, people can say, oh, this is totally going to win, or oh, this doesn't stand a chance at all. The Globes are such a small body of people, especially in TV. If it's nominated, it has a chance. Because there's only, like 80 or 90 of them? Did we lose Owen?
He probably because he can't hear us. He's, I don't know what happened there. Perhaps he's going to have to use his headphones, and we're going to have to see what happens with that. Which is weird because it was working perfectly fine. Like minutes before, he said, he lost our audio, so ultra confusing.
So I wanted to make that clear to people who will say, something has no chance whatsoever or something's obvious or whatever. Because one thing you could say is a lot of people like to look to the Emmys, where like when we saw Schitt's Creek win literally everything, people will assume Schitt's Creek will win everything here too. But that's really not always the case. I mean, if you're feeling like you don't know what to go with and you want to play it safe, Schitt's Creek would definitely be the safe bet, which may or may not happen a few times.
The big thing, of course, for the Emmys is the supportings are actually split up into drama and comedy, aren't they? That's why it did the sweep.
Yeah, and there's stuff here that wasn't out yet when we had the Emmys, so
yeah, as well.
We never know how big of players they are. So, should we go ahead and start with supporting actress, or should we stall? Or
I'm not sure. Okay, he's having connection issues, hoping to fix them soon. Until then, enjoy AJ and Ashley. We're taking over. I put a black and white filter on as if it's the NWO, just to cater to the wrestling fans that will be here. But I can't be bothered. It's 10 to 2 in the morning over here. I don't know why I'm saying that. So when I watch all these things live, I'm going to have to be up this late and then doing the stuff afterwards anyway. So yeah, I guess we're going actor or actress first for supporting in TV.
We'll start with actress.
Okay.
And there's a few things here that are so difficult. I actually haven't picked one yet. This is one of them.
Oh my god, am I gonna have to be? Am I gonna have to be the one? Well, I guess I'm not going to influence it because the order is you go first, so it's literally okay.
So we've got Gillian Anderson for The Crown, Helena Bonham Carter for The Crown, Julia Garner for Ozark, Annie Murphy for Schitt's Creek, and Cynthia Nixon for Ratched. I feel like the safe bet would be one of the Crown women, but then again, there's the whole thing of if you've got two people in one, and that's not always the case. Like when Colin Farrell won for In Bruges, it gets there's also a good chance if there's two people up for the same thing, one of them will take it. And I was honestly just gonna maybe flip a coin between the two of them. Because what else can I do? But I know I'd love to see Julia Garner get it. I've heard great things about Annie Murphy, and there's always the thing about how another safe choice of the Globes is the show that's ending, but I feel like the show that's just started is also equally safe. I guess depending on how beloved the show that's ending was or is.
I guess the added complication as well is The Crown is quote unquote ending because it's the whole revamp of the cast as well. So it's like a false ending, I guess.
So, like I was saying about Schitt's Creek, I guess the safe choice would be Annie Murphy if you're just going to say there's going to be a Schitt's Creek sweep. But I just keep leaning towards one of the Crown women, and I think I want to say Carter. So, really, based on nothing else, and because we need to move on before we're stuck on one category all night, I'm just gonna say fuck it and say Helena Bonham Carter.
Considering how all the buzz was behind her performance, certainly in the American media, I'll have to go on the other side of that coin, AJ. I think there was a lot of people praising her portrayal of Thatcher. Of course, there's some people, that may not. It's interesting because basically Thatcher was when Thatcher, from what I've heard, because I haven't seen it yet, when she sort of meets the Queen, in Thatcher's eyes, at least from the way it's interpreted by Peter Morgan, it's like she's the Queen and just the Queen's there to sit in and just nod, sort of thing. Like there's sort of a hierarchy thing there. So, plus it's British stuff, and Hollywood loves, a bit of British gossip. Ooh. So that's why I'm going for that. Owen's pick, I don't know whether Owen will have to give us our picks through chat if he can watch us, but not be able to sort of get in. I don't know. He said in chat, go for Starsky. Which one's Hutch? I don't know. What's going on? I don't get that reference. As long as AJ does comedy for two is good.
So you were talking about you potentially swaying. Now, I'm not going to backtrack because I like to play by our little rules here, but as far as you swaying what people think, yeah, if I had because remember, I don't care about The Crown at all. Like I'm not sure I could be paid to watch The Crown. But if I had remembered before we did this that Gillian Anderson was playing Thatcher, I probably would have said her.
Yeah. Maggie Thatcher, can you hear me? Your boys took a hell of a beating. That's all I remember, really. I've, the actual politics stuff that she did, or the Norwegian commentator that just randomly shouted her name because they beat England in the football to get through to like the World Cup soccer or something.
So I'm gonna regret that, but
well,
I gotta stick with it. So
again, it's the issue of do you actually, because I'd have to quickly look to see what happened last year in terms of because I don't think she won last year either. And again, it's this issue of, are we acknowledging her performance because you won't be able to do it again? Because of the recasting and everything. No, last year went to Patricia Arquette for the act. So, and Princess Margaret's normally a character anyway. At least if you go by the real sort of stuff and all the documentaries done about her. So, I don't know.
Of course, in her defense last year, it does seem like anymore, if Patricia Arquette's up for something, she's winning it. Like,
Nope. Tension mounting.
Last year went to Patricia Arquette.
Reverb. At least that means they can. At least that means possibly that Owen can hear us. Maybe.
I can hear you.
Good.
It's my laptop connection. It keeps disconnecting.
No problem. We'll try and fit it in where we can then. So, supporting actress for TV.
All right, so make sure I heard this correctly. So first off, because I heard The Crown, I got confused and didn't realize that's what category we were on. So I was confused why everything was mixed up from what I was seeing, because I was expecting something else when I heard The Crown, but nope. So it looks like you guys split the vote when it came to The Crown, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. And part of me wants to go Cynthia Nixon here. I don't know why. I feel like that's the underdog choice, but I'm not going there. Annie Murphy seems to be a safe bet, AJ, like you said before. It wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility to give Schitt's Creek a really nice evening, and I feel that it's going to do very well for itself, and I'll say that right now without blowing the spot. But for some reason here, I don't know why, Julia Garner's jumping out at me. And you always need to go with your first instinct, because I learned a long time ago that you need to trust your instincts, especially when it comes to predicting things. There's got to be a reason my mind is shifting to Ozark, and that's what I'm going with, Julia Garner.
I hope that happens. The thing is I'm waiting for Ozark to end before I start it.
Very nice.
I just love Julia Garner, and I want to see her win things.
AJ, as you know, I will things into existence for most things, so maybe I can make that happen for you. So there you go.
Didn't one of you try that for me when Caitlin Deaver was up for Unbelievable, and it never worked? I'm still kind of disappointed.
Well, to be honest,
I think it might have been Ashley, actually.
To be honest, I was swayed because she was actually damn good in Booksmart. So I was like, can we give her something, please?
That's fair.
That was all about Toni Collette and Mara Weaver for some reason, who are also great, obviously. But that was really Deaver's show. But I guess I should jump out of last year and get back here.
We can go back to last year.
So, supporting.
Yeah, I will go with that.
I feel like we have a few options here, actually. We have John Boyega for Small Axe, Brendan Gleeson for the Comey role, Dan Levy for Schitt's Creek, Jim Parsons for Hollywood, and Donald Sutherland for The Undoing. Obviously, Dan Levy would be the safe choice because a lot of people are going to expect a Schitt's Creek sweep after what we saw at the Emmys. Even if those don't always line up, that's what people think.
Of course.
And it is totally likely. I mean, Dan Levy's like a huge thing right now, as is the whole thing.
Especially with his SNL performance the other night. It's fresh in everybody's minds.
And I watched The Undoing. I was just going to watch a couple episodes. I watched the whole thing of The Undoing over this past week.
That's what you're talking about. That makes sense.
And I had heard, last video I was saying I was really excited to see Donald Sutherland's performance because I had heard like that it was amazing, and like people were singling it out before I'd even seen it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably for his "I'm a cocksucker" scene. I mean, the whole. I know out of context that sounds very interesting, but it does have a context. I do think the problem is that scene really. He's great through the whole thing, but that scene feels like it's setting up a payoff that we never see.
Ooh, that's not good.
it's almost kind of like the character leaves you with blue balls because he doesn't really get the. He sets up that he's going to go off, but it turns out that's his going off scene. So I don't know if that would have anything to do with it, but
I'm
I
just
would
hoping
love.
the reason why he said I'm a cocksucker is because he saw blowjob lips video tutorial.
But you know, I think I'm gonna go with Brendan Gleeson.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know how much I would need to explain that. I mean, it's one of those things where it's what's really funny is what I was talking about before, where it's like the way you could play this role and how he does it in a way that's over the top, but still it's over the top and accurate at the same time. Like the heavy breathing and the sniffing is so weirdly accurate.
So you're telling me
so,
Gleason
so-
did his research.
So what you're saying, AJ, is in the times that we currently live in, they want to see Hollywood stick it to another way to do that. That's the reason why you would give the award to Brendan Gleeson in this circumstance.
And I could see other people arguing that's a reason to not give it to him.
I can see both.
It would be like rewarding the character, but once again, number one, that would just be silly. But secondly, this is a small group of voters. If they voted him in the nominations list, he has a shot at winning. So,
oh, totally.
So I don't think that's going to be anything that stands against him. So I'm just going to go with him.
All right. Ashley, what do you got?
I sort of gave a clue to this when we actually discussed these nominations last week. Even though I don't think it's as strong a performance as other performances in the miniseries, I feel because it's Hollywood, they're probably going to give it to Boyega.
That's what I was thinking you were going to say.
Yeah, it might be just, oh look, it's the only it's the only British entry, fly the flag. But at the same time, it's the only recognition for it sort of outside the entire sort of miniseries.
Okay.
So I just think that could be an influence, and I think for a foreign audience, maybe the story of systemic racism in British policing probably hits home in terms of similar stuff. Obviously, like the Rodney King stuff and everything that you've seen in American culture. So I think that could be an influence.
So if I hear this correctly, you both are going with politics in one form or another when it comes to your choice. Not necessarily that's the reason why you chose it. It's just that's.
I was going to say what it sounds like is it's anybody but Jim Parsons. But then again, the Globes fucking love Jim Parsons, so it could be all fine.
Right. Okay, so I'll do the same thing I did with everything else. When it comes down to it, I see a reason for all 5 opportunities. I see why they would go for Gleason. I see why they wouldn't go for Gleason. I see the reason why they go for Boyega. I see a reason why they won't go for Boyega. I see a really good reason they should go for Dan Levy, but I don't think they will. I know I just talked about a Schitt's Creek Love Fest. It's not going to be a love fest, but I do think it's not leaving empty-handed. I'll put it that way. Jim Parsons is always a contender no matter what he does, so it makes sense they would go that route. I know this is the first time I've heard of this speech that AJ spoke of, and the first thing that comes to my mind when I think about this speech is Frank Langella and Lolita. So just the concept. And that being said, I'm going to go with Donald Sutherland here.
You suddenly make me want to see 90s Donald Sutherland play Quilty. That would have been amazing.
Yes, I know. That'd be amazing. Get on that, Hollywood. It's been forever since Lolita's been remade. Come on, let's do this.
Dude, he's 85.
Then the story becomes even worse.
All right, so the next category?
Yes.
I guess we will do actress in a miniseries or TV movie.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta get to that. Yep.
I wish this was more difficult, and I know I said before that the Globes. It's kind of hard to say anything's a certainty or isn't, but I feel like this has been laid out for a while. For actress in a miniseries or TV movie, we have Kate Blanchett for Miss America, Daisy Edgar-Jones for Normal People, Shira Haas for Unorthodox, Nicole Kidman for The Undoing, and Anya Taylor-Joy for The Queen's Gambit. In any awards race, Kate Blanchett is a threat, usually.
Totally.
In any other scenario, I would say Kidman would have this almost handily, especially after the love she got for Big Little Lies, the first season. But was this ever not Anya Taylor-Joy? Ever in this awards race?
No, of course not.
So I'm going to say her, and I will be very surprised if it isn't. So, yeah.
My guess is you're going the same way, Owen.
ATJ all the way.
He's actually going to do something crazy.
I'm sure he is. I think I know direction he's going to go, actually.
It's not crazy, but, you know, if it's another case of British thing gets absolutely really good press, and then the Americans pretty much ignore it. You know, we heard about the snub for I May Destroy You, but arguably the bigger snub, at least when it came to the Emmys, was there was very little to no recognition for Normal People.
I knew that was the route you were going.
Maybe I'm being swayed by the time of year and there being too much stuff with hearts, but it's refreshing to see a TV drama with like something that seems like a realistic relationship and not Malcolm and Marie. They bicker, they make up, they bicker, they make up, they bicker, they make up. How do you drag that out for 106 minutes, Sam Levinson? Seriously. So yeah, I'm basically this might be my only time where I take that back. It won't be the only time that I'm championing the British talent over the American ones. But I'd just like to see that get some recognition from somebody in America. For the love of God, please. Although I wouldn't object to really any of them apart from maybe Kate Blanchett, because it's like there's a lot of other women in that you could say that are just as significant in terms of actress as her. Just because she is quote unquote the title doesn't mean it's, you know, fully about her story. So it's one where it's like, if any of the five win, I'm not going to say somebody was fucking cheated. Unlike in other categories, which we'll get to.
All right, actor in a miniseries or TV movie?
Mm-hmm.
This looks tough.
Yeah, this is another one where it could be probably any of them. We got Bryan Cranston for Your Honor, Jeff Daniels for The Comey Rule, Hugh Grant for The Undoing, Ethan Hawke for The Good Lord Bird, and Mark Ruffalo for I Know This Much Is True. I feel like the least likely is Daniels because he's the most downplayed, but they love giving Daniels shit. They love to give that man trophies, and I don't mind.
I swear, if they could found a way to give him the trophy for Interstellar, even though he was in it for about 8 minutes, they would.
Are you mistaking him with John Lithgow, maybe?
No, wasn't Jeff Daniels like the head of NASA in Interstellar?
The Martian.
Oh, was it? Right.
Yeah. Close enough.
It was the problem is, he's like, all I remember is it's Jeff Daniels. He's in so many things. It's like, oh, it's the Jeff Daniels thing. The Looming Tower, it's the Jeff Daniels thing.
And Gauntlet. Ruffalo is the one that got the Emmy, which I think surprised people.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess it's not surprising because he's playing two totally different characters, to my understanding.
Right.
Yeah.
I said I was really excited. I was really excited to watch The Good Lord Bird because I'm a huge Ethan Hawke fan, and this was him going like all for it. I watched the first episode, and I'll probably keep going, but the first episode was enough to give me the gist of it that I think this is the closest Ethan Hawke is going to get to Daniel Plainview. And so that's so that's so I honestly would not be surprised
Ethan
if it was
Hawke has
him for
abandoned
some
his boy. He's abandoned his faith. Tie into First Reformed.
Oh yeah. Um, I haven't really seen anything but little ads for Your Honor, but I hear great things, and just not even based on anything, I almost chose Cranston. Like there might even be a small mark where I had my pen there, but then I pulled it away. um, I went ahead and went with Hugh Grant. There's a lot he's got to do, even if I feel like the climax kind of came from out of fucking nowhere. But I don't know if that would be held in his favor or against him. But there's a lot that he has to do, and it's really effective. And there's so many times before where they could have awarded him, and they just haven't. I don't think he got anything for A Very English Scandal, did he? He was always up for it, but I don't remember him ever winning anything.
Yeah, I remember. I mean, that might be influencing what I'm about to say in a little bit. But yeah, Wishaw got supporting for English Scandal, but he lost out to. Oh yeah, the assassination of Gianni Versace. American
Damn
Crime
Ryan
Story.
Murphy. So yeah, and of course his Oscar snub for Florence Foster Jenkins, that still kind of hurts. But yeah, I'm gonna go with him. I do love there's a moment in The Undoing when he bites a dude's finger, and it was like, holy shit, it's the cannibal character from Cloud Atlas coming back. So I almost went Daniels, or I almost went Cranston, but I think I'm just gonna uncertainly settle with Grant.
Ashley.
Paddington 2, motherfuckers! That's all I need to say.
Dang it.
That's all I need to say. I mean, I don't think he's won a Golden Globe that I'm aware of yet. In like anything. So, I'd like to see some recognition, considering how it's had a lot of buzz. Also, it'd be weird to think about that in the same year of him, at least in the UK, the same year of him doing this brilliant performance in. I take that back. A great performance in The Undoing. He has also maybe not as good, but pretty genre-defining, genre-swerving performance in The Gentleman as Fletcher, the tabloid spiv. Because it's rare to see a film where Hugh Grant plays, a dodgy character. I guess the first time you sort of saw that was Very English Scandal to some extent. So, I hope we see it again. I take it back. He actually got Best Actor in Motion Picture Musical or Comedy for 4 Weddings, which is nearly 30 years ago. I feel old.
I don't want to hear it, Ashley. So, AJ brought the facts. Ashley marks out for Paddington 2. Given what this weekend is, it makes sense that I throw a different reference. Don't write him off just yet. Hugh Grant's going to win.
All right. So, miniseries or TV movie?
Mm-hmm.
We have Normal People, The Queen's Gambit, Small Axe, The Undoing, and Unorthodox. Small Axe would usually seem like a good possibility, especially with it being one director that more or less made, 5 separate movies, is it?
I'd say
Uh,
so. Hang on, I'm trying to remember the running times. I know one was. I should probably go to where I've got them on my computer. I think I've still got them on here. Or maybe not. I know that one of them is like 2 hours, so it's literally feature film, and then some of the others are sort of. I think one's like 65 minutes and one's 75. So they do range a bit.
Yeah, I was thinking. I still haven't watched it yet, but I was thinking at least a couple of them were about 2 hours.
Hang on. As the hard drive.
And of course, The Undoing was a big thing that everybody went crazy for. But there was something else that was a big thing that everybody went crazy for. I feel like the safe choice is The Queen's Gambit, and that's the one I'm going with.
All right.
I'm sticking with Small Axe. Mainly because I do want it to win Golden Globes and Oscars. Because they'll find some way to put it in the Oscars, probably. Even though I don't know whether it's eligible.
Well, I think if you look at my predictions so far, it's going to do what I have said that Schitt's Creek was not going to do, and that's going to be it's going to do very well when it comes to certain categories and not in others. In this case, I'm going to stick with something that I've already have given 2 wins to. It might as well just give it the whole thing. I'm going with The Undoing.
Just having a quick look. Mangrove, which was the first one, was 2 hours 7. Lovers Rock was an hour 10. Alex Wheatle was an hour 6. Red, White and Blue was an hour 20. And Education was an hour and 3. So yeah, it hops all over the place.
Okay, remember how I've been talking about you can't necessarily rely on a Schitt's Creek sweep because of the Emmys? Let's go to the top 3 categories for comedy series.
Yeah, because musical has apparently been thrown out this year.
For actress, we have Lily Collins for Emily in Paris, Kaylee Cuoco for The Flight Attendant, Elle Fanning for The Great, Jane Levy for Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist, and Catherine O'Hara for Schitt's Creek. This is so, like, destined to be Schitt's Creek. There's even a levy in the category. Just not related.
We're just covering bases.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past a couple of these, but it's really hard to imagine it wouldn't be Catherine O'Hara. So that's what I'm saying.
Ashley?
I'd like it to be Kaylee, I'd like it to be Al, I'd like it to be Jane, but it's going to be Catherine. I might have left one out for purposes.
Which is funny because that's the person's name that immediately popped into my mind, and I thought, no.
Yeah. Oh, I was panicking there. I thought you were going to say you were going to go for it, and then you immediately went no. I was like, whew.
And to be fair, Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist is basically a musical anyway, so that's your musical of this category, so it makes sense. Mm-hmm. I've been a fan for a long time. I'm very happy to be able to say that I love my Chris Guest movies, and winners need to come from these films because they're fantastic films that need to be watched a lot more often. Catherine O'Hara.
And we will all dance to Harry Belafonte in Celebration. So
I don't know. Pop TV cancelled the guy's show that who's literally getting the Carol Burnett Award. One day at a time, ran for 7 episodes, and then they were like, yeah, we can't be bothered to show it anymore. There must have been a reason why it was popular on Netflix. Oh wait, they got rid of it for no reason. Thanks, American TV culture for just getting rid of shit that you, whatever. Anyway, actor.
And we roll right into a category that has no Netflix representation whatsoever.
I think the only one in practically everything.
I was going to say, Schitt's Creek is there now, or it was, but
Schitt's
obviously
Creek
didn't
is
originate.
international. That's the confusing thing. Over here, they're saying big win for Netflix. Schitt's Creek with all these nominations. It's like, yeah, internationally it's on Netflix. I'm pretty sure it's broadcast on actual television.
Yeah, Impact didn't even know that what Pop TV was, and they promoted being on it for so long. So there you go.
One Day at a Time got cancelled because they wanted more disc golf. That might be a shoot. I can't remember. All I remember is when they said that Impact Wrestling was going to be on there. It was like, here's the other shows. Disc golf. Disc golf. Like, oh my God.
All right, actor in a comedy series.
Mm-hmm.
We have Don Cheadle for Black Monday, Nicholas Hoult for The Great, Eugene Levy for Schitt's Creek, Jason Sudeikis for Ted Lasso, and Rami Youssef for Rami. That said, Ted Lasso is surprisingly good, and Sudeikis is really good in it. And in another year, I would like to see him take it. But as with Catherine O'Hara, it's really hard to imagine it would not be Eugene Levy. So that's obviously what I'm saying.
I'm just having a quick look at this because I need to verify something, which I think is interesting.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and this is why I think that I'm agreeing with AJ. This is the first time Eugene's been nominated in this category. Despite all the other series, never made it in, at least at the Globes. So this screams the Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones, Mad Men, last season. Oh, we'll acknowledge it now because you're going. So, yeah, we stick with the Christopher Guest. Love it.
And although it would be nice to go to our wonderful worker at the drive-thru in one scene, and the man who needs to fire his agent for a movie that he did long, long ago. AJ's the only one that gets that, and I'm fine with that. Duh, it's my dad. Eugene Levy wins. Come on. I've been Jason Biggs since the movie came out, so I might as well say it. My dad wins. There you go.
All right, we come to an interesting place in comedy series, if I'm thinking correctly, where we have Emily in Paris, The Flight Attendant, The Great, Schitt's Creek, and Ted Lasso. Obviously, one of the big arguments for Schitt's Creek is that it's on its way out, that it's over. Am I mistaken, or are the other four all in their first season?
Yeah, I think they're all new. Well, certainly, the fact that Flight Attendant's on HBO Max tells you that's got to be new, because HBO Max didn't exist until about 4 months ago.
That's correct.
Emily in Paris, I think, somehow has got commission for a second season. Stress the word somehow. The thing I'm confused about The Great is I don't know where that's going. I'm sort of too Catherine the Greated out, because we've already had Catherine the Great, the Sky... I can't remember what American channel it was, but the Helen Mirren one, like, from last year. It's like, there's too much Catherine. And Ted Lasso is on Apple TV Plus, lol.
I'm guessing I made it clear that I'm saying Schitt's Creek.
Ashley?
What Owen said.
Well, to be fair, I'm an SCTV guy at the end of the day, too. So, yes, I always have to stick with the Canadian brethren, if you will. So, yeah, of course. Schitt's Creek.
That's why it was a never.
There's shoot no competition unless something comes out of absolute nowhere. And the weird thing is, AJ keeps bringing up Ted Lasso, and I think that's your dark horse here.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to win. I
only throw shade at Apple TV Plus because after all the success it had last year in terms of nominations, the fact that this is the only show that gives it any recognition.
All right.
Are we ready for our last 3 TV categories?
Let's head to the drama. Let's head to the drama.
It's always the most exciting time of the award season when we're almost done with the TV category. All right, so actress in a drama series, we have Olivia Colman for The Crown, Jodie Comer for Killing Eve, Emma Corrin for The Crown, Laura Linney for Ozark, and Sarah Paulson for Ratched. So, people just kind of love Sarah Paulson in general.
Yep.
And like we were talking about in supporting actress, there's obviously always going to be love for The Crown to the point that multiple people end up in the same category. Like I said, you can use the canceling out argument or whatever, but sometimes that's the case, sometimes it's not.
Stop reading my mind, AJ.
I feel like Killing Eve's always kind of an option, just hanging out there.
Totally.
Like it could take something or it couldn't. I guess you could say the same thing about Ozark. Ozark's wins outside of the Emmys don't seem to be that stacked up. I don't remember Ozark winning a shitload, but then again, TV categories at award shows are always kind of blurry to me after the fact.
Makes me feel good about my predictions earlier. Thanks, AJ.
but like I was saying before, when people really build up that whole thing of they love awarding the show that's ending, I feel like just as much emphasis could be put on how much they award shows that are just starting as well.
This is true.
So I'm going to say Sarah Paulson. I'm sure it's baiting. We know how Sarah Paulson plays these kind of characters, and somebody already won an Oscar for this part. So.
What do you got, Ashley?
I made a last-minute change because I realised Olivia Colman already won last year. So I'm fearing Emma Corrin's going to win because she's playing Diana, and it's Diana. Again, this Hollywood obsession with just Diana. And how a lot of the articles about The Crown were not, it was about, okay, Olivia Colman's playing the Queen, but look at Diana and look at Thatcher. It's like, okay. I can see now why this is ending at 6 seasons. So yeah, I'm going for Emma Corrin. It'd be nice to see her get recognition. Then again, of course, remember, Camilla Parker Bowles in that series was played by Owen's favourite promising young woman. Or director of Promising Young Woman.
Close enough. Here's the thing. If I remember correctly, I'm not looking on because I don't have time for it. But make sure that I'm correct on this. I believe Jodie Comer has won before, correct? Because I remember seeing her name in an award ceremony winning for this role before.
She's won BAFTAs. Last year,
okay.
Coleman beat.
So there's precedence there, okay. And the first thing that came to my mind immediately was Sarah Paulson. But I'm not going that route. I'll probably kick myself in the face for this. But, even though it's happened time in and time out, I guess the old adage, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Olivia Colman.
Okay.
It's a safe bet. I might as well make safe bets now because I'm going to make some wild ones when we get to movies. So.
No, it is fair that it's safe, definitely.
Yeah, because I feel like winning back to back in TV isn't all that uncommon either.
No, it really isn't.
So that's the thing with TV is there's so many different paths you can go down where like everything has a precedent, so it's hard to tell.
like the precedent set this year that AJ's actually paying attention to television so much that he actually has stuff to say for the television. That's the reason why the segments are a little different this season, because AJ and Ashley both have something to say when it comes to the TV categories.
Well, it's funny you say that now, because I don't have stake in any of the drama. I haven't watched Ratched, but I watched a trailer and said, "Fuck no." It's an interesting concept, but Ryan Murphy looks like he Ryan Murphy'd the shit out of it, and I'm not interested.
That's fair. Oh boy.
With that said, do we go on to actor in a drama series?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where we have Jason Bateman for Ozark, Josh O'Connor for The Crown, Bob Odenkirk for Better Call Saul, Al Pacino for Hunters, and Matthew Rhys for Perry Mason. I feel like Bateman's always here, just kind of waiting to take it. Anybody from The Crown is waiting to take something. You would think Odenkirk would be more in this, but the Globes just seem to not have much passion for Better Call Saul for some reason. And not necessarily, it doesn't necessarily mean that you can base how something performed in other categories on how it would in one particular one, but it's just kind of weird. Of course, Pacino could take this just solely on name value.
Yeah, of course.
But for some reason, I don't know if it's because he ended up not winning last year when everybody thought that he would. At least that's how I remember it. I don't know. Well, every time I look at this piece of paper, Matthew Rhys's name just starts screaming at me.
I figured that's where you're going to go.
And he's in a new show, which always helps. And he didn't win any of these for the Americans, so I'm just gonna. I feel like if I don't say Matthew Rhys, I'm gonna spend all the way up until Globes night wishing that I had for some reason. So
That's fair.
I'm just gonna say him.
Okay, Ashley.
I'm gonna go with Bateman for Ozark. Not
I like
much.
when we split the categories.
Not well. Part of me again wants to go with Josh O'Connor because he won't be Prince Charles again, and of course because of the whole dynamic with him and Diana, that could be again another factor because British royal family culture. But I'll go with the sort of the safer bet in Bateman.
Now, just to verify, this would be the fourth time Odenkirk has ran for this role, and chances are it's the fourth time he's gonna lose by law of averages. You know what? I feel like this is finally when he gets his.
Well, he's got that movie coming out.
I'm gonna go Bob Odenkirk here.
He's got that movie coming out in the next few months. Yeah.
I also believe that he's burned me many times when it comes to the award season, but I think this time I'm actually going to go with it and have a little bit more thought that he actually will win this time around. So that's why I'm going to go with him.
The interesting thing is it will be his fourth nomination, but he hasn't been nominated in 3 years. I don't remember there being 3-year gap in between seasons of Better Call Saul.
Yeah, that would be impossible, I think.
Yeah.
All right. Our last TV category.
I don't know where to go with this.
For drama series, we have The Crown, Lovecraft Country, Jesus, The Mandalorian, Ozark, and Ratched. Even though I have a lot of its actors losing, I feel pretty safe here just saying The Crown.
Ashley?
I'd love it to be Mandalorian or Lovecraft, but I don't want to say fear. I feel it'll be The Crown.
It'd be so easy to just go out on a limb, the thing I do every year. This is me out on a limb. and just go completely bat insane and go with something different. Lovecraft Country is not winning this. I don't think Ratchet's winning this. So it's down to the obvious ones and the one that everybody wants to see win because it's going to make the most people happy. And I'd love to go with a little bit of personal bias when it comes to the property. But, you know, at the end of the day, I'd like to do that, but I'm going to go way biased later on. So, but that's justified. In this case, I don't think that they're going to go with what everybody wants to win or the GP want to win. They're going to go with what they see to deserving to win. In this case, I'm going to have to go with the Crown as well.
Just double checking, Owen, who did you go for on the actor one again?
Oh, God. Odenkirk.
Right, yeah, that's right. Just making sure it's in the right place on the piece of screen. I was going to say paper. I can't print these out because I'd run out of paper. Right, so TV is done.
This is gonna be rough.
Let's move on to the awkward shit.
Well, yeah, let's just do the ones where there's no competition going on first.
Bless it.
Let's start with foreign. Another round. La Llorona, The Life Ahead, Minari, the two of us. Or just two of us, okay. Minari, obviously.
Ashley.
I'd like it to be another round, but with everything over the whole hubbub about it being a foreign language film, even though it's an American production, it probably is going to be Minari, so yeah, I'm going with that as well.
I don't think it's Parasite this year, even though the precedent has been set that it could end up being that, but it's going to win tonight, so Minari.
No, it's not going to be Parasite because it's going to get acting nominations.
Yeah, it's true.
Also, it's American, which probably means it won't win.
So, continue.
Right. Animated, The Croods, Onward, Over the Moon, Soul, Wolfwalkers, obviously Soul.
Ashley.
I so want there to be like a surprise here and say Wolfwalkers. But yes.
That's not impossible. What was it? Was it Missing Link that won here randomly?
Yep.
Yeah, but
don't doubt Leica ever.
Then again, I'm trying to remember what Missing Link was up against that year. Quick to the wiki.
Wasn't that Toy Story 4's year? Toy Story 4 and Klaus? Because Klaus won.
No, I mean, it was the year
Because Klaus
before.
won BAFTA, and then Toy Story 4 won the Oscar. I think those were all the same year.
Scroll through the list. Oh yeah! Wow, that was last year. Jeez, I feel old. Also, breaking news: even though apparently it's not coming out in the UK,
if you don't.
Even though it's not coming out in the UK, Croods is still somehow being considered for BAFTA awards. Great, we're throwing the rule book. I don't know what I cut you off, Owen, because you're going to say Soul, right?
And like I said before, don't doubt Leica. It beat all of the Disney movies and How to Overrate Your Dragon sequel. So, needless to say, yeah, it's going to be a great night for jazz. This will be a great season for jazz in general. And yeah, Soul's definitely winning.
All right. Should we do score?
Sure.
I say score or song is next.
I'd say score. The Battle of 9 Inch Nails.
Accurate.
With score, we have Mank, The Midnight Sky, News of the World, Soul, and Tenet. Being the Globes, this could go totally random.
Totally.
And I feel like Soul is the obvious choice because it's the musically themed movie.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, and Tenet's naturally the showy one, to put it mildly. since it's one of the more praised aspects of the movie, I'm going to go ahead and say News of the World.
Okay. Ashley.
I'm going with Soul.
I don't know. Because it's down to 2. And yeah, it's all about the 9 Inch Nails. Because Bastille, take a shot. Because Baptiste is actually a part of it, I think it's more impactful that way. So I could really see Mank winning this, honestly. Because I don't really have it winning anything else. So that I'm thinking of off the top of my head. So this could be its win. But yeah, I think I'll go with Soul here.
I'm just loving the fact, at least on the BAFTAs, that Ammonite is apparently supposedly up the score, when I think the score may be 4 minutes long. Because most of that film is just natural sound and barely any score. So it's like
It's on the Oscar shortlist for something. I can't remember.
I think that might be score as well, because you know. Let me have a quick look. Yeah, it's up for score in the Oscars as well.
All right.
On to song.
Yeah.
This is the interesting one.
I was gonna say. I'm gonna guess that everybody's guess is as good as mine because I don't think there's a front runner or anything, and there certainly isn't. There's no big popular song or anything.
There's never a front runner when there's a Diane Warren song involved.
So we've got "Fight for You" from Judas and the Black Messiah, "Scene from the Life Ahead," "Speak Now" from One Night in Miami, "Hear My Voice" from the Trial of Chicago 7, and "Tigers and Tweed" from the United States versus Billie Holiday. Just because your guess is as good as mine, I went ahead and said "Tigers and Tweed."
Okay, Ashley.
I went with something to do with Hamilton, and went with One Night in Miami. And "Speak Now."
Okay, then we're going to split it again because I'm going to go with "Hear My Voice." I think this is the first of the Trial of Chicago 7 wins.
That's funny because it's funny that you two went with those because my second choice was "Fight for You," actually.
My second choice was "Speak Now."
My second choice was apparently Diane Warren, because you know she's literally Meryl Streep. She has to be nominated in a year where there is no Meryl Streep or Jennifer Lawrence. Diane Warren is the new Meryl Streep, confirmed.
Refresh my memory. Which one's hers?
Life
Ahead.
Okay. Should we go to screenplay?
Yes.
Yeah.
We have The Father, Mank, Nomadland, Promising Young Woman, The Trial of Chicago 7. Obviously, if I had to pick, I would absolutely want it to be Promising Young Woman. But I know they love Sorkin. They gave it to him for Steve Jobs, even when the Oscars snubbed him entirely. And they clearly love Trial of Chicago 7 in general.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what I feel like Trial of Chicago 7 is like the easy choice. So I imagine that might be the route that they take. So that's what I'm going with.
What do you got, Ashley?
I want it to be The Father, because when they talk about it in the British press, it'll be like, well, it's not coming out. I'm split between Fincher and Sorkin. I'm probably just going to have to give the edge to Sorkin.
It's like my head, my heart, kind of like going up and down here. Don't know exactly which one to go with. Fincher jumped out at me immediately. Easily could happen. Sorkin's always a contender. I think The Father's out of this, so I'm not even going to worry about it. That being said, that probably wins.
I feel like the Father's Picture nomination says a lot about how they felt about it when it's in over stuff like One Night in Miami and Ma Rainey and stuff.
Which may end up being a one-time only thing. We'll just have to wait and see as we progress.
I mean, they also put music in the other category, so it doesn't maybe.
It's gonna be. Oh God, this is tough. Chloe Zhao is a possibility. A very good one, actually. But I think they're going to be a director screenplay split. And I might as well just do it right now. This is tough. I'm sorry. Because I'm basically doing this on the fly for all intents and purposes because I don't have any advance. I didn't have time to do any sort of prep for this. That makes me sound horrible, I know.
What you're doing now is going to be me in the supporting categories in a minute.
Okay, good. I don't feel so bad. Sorkin's really possible. Okay, I'm good with that. That's what I'm gonna go with. I feel comfortable with this. There's gonna be a split between director and screenplay. Obviously, I want the same movie to win both, deservingly so. But at the end of the day, I think her screenplay win is more likely than her director win. I'm gonna go with Emerald Fennel.
Okay.
I'm not extremely comfortable with that, but I feel that it's deserved if it happens.
Considering the article that I've just read from a abuse survivor not being very happy with the script, you know, that partly swayed me as well.
I was gonna say I'll let you guys decide. We're gonna do the supporting categories or director next. You want to do director?
I'd say director, because then we have the complication of the whole, you know, musical or comedy separation for the actress and actresses stuff. So
we have Emma Fennell for Promising Young Woman, David Fincher for Mank, Regina King for One Night in Miami, Aaron Sorkin for Trial of Chicago 7, and Chloe Zhao for Nomadland.
Okay.
Is anybody else possibly thinking what I've been thinking about Oscar nominations morning? I've been thinking that Fincher is going to do the Bennett Miller Pawlikowski thing, where he'll get in the Oscar lineup for director without Mank getting in picture.
It's very possible.
And for some reason, and they seemed to like Fincher pretty well. I remember the Globes went pretty, at least nomination-wise, went wild for Gone Girl when the Oscars didn't. But I feel like if Fincher's going to do that, there's something that could propel him, and that would be a win here.
Okay, makes sense.
So I'm going to go out on a limb, if you want to call it that, and say Fincher, even though I don't think Fincher is going to be like winning anything big after this.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you got, Ashley?
I'm going for Regina. I think we're going to see back-to-back Globe wins in 3 different categories for her.
That would be wild. Like I want to see that just for the statistic.
Well, the fun fact on this is, without like showing my hand for my Oscar predictions, which I literally have not looked at, with you going Regina King here, I think she's the one person of this 5 that misses the director lineup. So I can't go there.
She's the least.
And I've already. Go ahead, AJ. Sorry.
You could easily say she's the least showy for sure, but she's still what she has to do is very strong with how she's able to has all four of the cast without the. Well, I thought none of them overshadowed the other.
That's good.
And the way she was able to handle the confined, like being mainly in one setting, is she's gonna be a bit. I know it's weird to say this with all the love she's getting, but everything she had to do on this movie as a director might go underrated because people will be expecting something really showy, and that's not what it is.
I can't see an Oscar lineup with 3 female nominees, and I've been thinking since day one, and AJ can vouch for me on this, that I knew who the 2 were going to be if they're going to be 2 in the category. There's definitely not going to be 1. There's going to be more than 1 for sure. And I think to go with my heart and go with my head, it makes the most sense. And Chloe Zhao could easily win this, and I think it's very possible she could win this. But the more I think about it, the more I come to the fact of Aaron Sorkin. I think the trial of the Chicago 7 is something that it's going to be overlooked by a lot of people that are predicting things. And I think that's going to be a problem in the long run. So I'm going to give it to Aaron Sorkin here.
It's funny that they share a category here, because it's like every time I watch a movie that Sorkin wrote and directed, all I think is this would be so much better if Fincher directed.
Nice. Oh God, here we go. Let's get to our supporting categories.
All right. As I said before, I have them each narrowed down to 2, but I have not made a decision. For supporting actress, we have Glenn Close for Hillbilly Elegy, Olivia Colman for The Father, Jodie Foster for The Mauritanian, Amanda Seyfried for Mank, and Helena Zengel for News of the World.
Okay.
As I said, I've got it down to 2. I've got it down to the person that was snubbed by SAG, because as we saw with Regina King a couple years ago, sometimes, as weird as it is, Regina King proved apparently this may be all you need to stay in the race somehow.
Globes actually matter, even though we've said for years that they don't.
Even if you give as nothing of a performance as Seyfried did. But there's something else going on here that I feel like people are choosing to ignore for whatever reason. Everybody's saying it's weird Glenn Close is here. Glenn Close doesn't stand a chance because the movie was hated, etc. I feel like Glenn Close is here to stay. Like, I feel like Glenn Close is in this.
I see that.
Like, it really... I feel like this is a case where she is in her award history at this point, and how baity and big the role is, it really does not matter how the movie was received. As long as she got the acclaim that she did, she's very safe here as far as the fact that she's in the lineup.
Right.
So I've got it down to those 2, and interestingly enough, I was leaning towards Close. And like I said, I know people are just think it's a throwaway nomination and it's not going to get any farther. They thought it wasn't going to get any farther at Globes, and then fucking SAG happened.
True.
So I do think she's a major player here, whether people want to think that or not. And like I said, the other would be SAG snubby Seyfried. I don't think it matters that Zengel's not at Critics' Choice. I don't. Just critics. We keep saying that about the Globes, and the Globes sometimes prove us wrong. The Critics' Choice does not matter. It never did. It never will. It has no bearing on anything whatsoever. They have 8 goddamn slots in actor. They do not matter. They may have finally been the only one smart enough and good enough to nominate Delroy Lindo, but it still took them 8 slots. But that's another thing. So
that's a glowing recommendation for the Popcast that's coming next Saturday night.
So I guess just to say fuck you to everything, I'm gonna say Glenn Close.
Okay.
Because I genuinely think it's totally possible.
Yeah.
Like absolutely.
Go ahead, Ashley.
Probably with the bias here, I am going to say Olivia Colman again. Also realizing that I'm probably doing that because she isn't winning with the other one.
We'll see.
You know, if she wins 2 on one night, that would be a bit crazy. The one I actually feel least comfortable in this list actually isn't Glenn Close. It's more Helena Zengel for News of the World. Because I've heard basically...
There's a reason there.
No, but I'm saying she literally got the job on the film for her performance like a year or two before in... I can't remember the German film. But it was like it was a performance that was that good. That's why she got the gig for News of the World. And I'm pretty sure in that one she was like an extrovert sort of crazy kid. Whereas, okay, she's playing, you know, a child that's seen some shit, considering how the American Indians murdered her family in getting her, and then the American soldiers murdered the American Indians, just to really mix stuff up. But I just wonder whether it's like Hollywood trying to catch up, like praising her here. So I don't know. Watch it be ambivalent, Seafried. But I'll go with Coleman for this one. I don't mind losing on this one.
Speaking of that, Ashley, you're going to cover our chat in just a few minutes after we get done with our awards nominations. I have Pyro in the background, nice. Zengel jumps out at me, and it's a possibility. Jodie Foster jumps out at me, really, to say the least. And I can easily see Glenn Close winning this. I don't think Coleman's going to win both, but that's just me. Could be wrong. We'll see. I haven't seen the performance, obviously, and that's going to be something I'm going to try to stay away from saying this season because it's going to become a broken record, and it's going to be like a take a shot moment when I say that. So the best way to put it out this way is going to be like, I'll go with what I heard about originally and what seems to have fallen off a little bit. She needs to win this to be able to be in this race. So I feel that's possible. Amanda Seyfried.
All right, supporting actor.
Oh, I don't want to do this category. Good Lord.
All right, we got Sacha Baron Cohen for The Child of Chicago 7, Dana Kaluuya for Judas and the Black Messiah, Jared Leto for The Little Things, Bill Murray for On the Rocks, and Leslie Odom Jr. for One Night in Miami. The only person I'm not considering is Murray.
Yeah, and sadly.
The reaction to that may be, why the fuck would you ever consider Leto? Well, number one, much like Glenn Close, SAG showed that they're in the race, whether people like it or not. But the other thing is, I don't think it's going to be Leto.
Nope.
But if one were to think that, and if you want to talk about, you know, maybe he won't get as far as Oscar, as far as the nominations go. What's one performance you've seen his performance repeatedly compared to? Aaron Taylor Johnson in Nocturnal Animals.
Yep.
What happened to Aaron Taylor Johnson when he was here for Nocturnal Animals? Regardless of Shannon getting nominated in his place.
I think, wasn't that the one and done?
I think he got in at BAFTA, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but he didn't win, from what I remember.
No. And then Shannon got nominated in his place at the Oscars, just to say, fuck you. So, honestly, Aaron Taylor Johnson alone makes me think that Leto's not out of it.
Right.
That means that Leto could win and still not go any farther. But I don't think he's going to win this either. Apparently, I heard actually recently that apparently Leslie Odom Jr. was the front runner for a while like pre-nominations, even though he's still been consistently nominated. Cohen and Kaluuya are kind of battling it out, to my understanding. Like I said, it's weird to me anyway that Odom's even here when he's only as good as Kingsley Benadir or the other two. But I think I was choosing between Cohen and Kaluuya, and like I said, it's interesting that Fred Hampton, the character that Kaluuya plays, is in both movies.
Nice.
So I find it hard to believe Cohen's going to leave empty-handed, whether it be here or his other nomination. And Kaluuya is getting a really nice surge at just the right time. So this is a tough call that I had not decided yet. I was actually feeling pretty confident about Cohen, and I don't think seeing Judas and the Black Messiah yesterday is influencing this. But it's like the strength that he's found in the race is absolutely here. And I heard like when Paul Racy wasn't showing up as much as people thought he would, a lot of people just jumped to the idea of, oh, I think that means Kaluuya's ahead then. Like I said, I haven't been watching this season as closely as others, so I haven't really watched specifically when these shifts happened or know for sure. But I do think, and honestly, when I say it could be Cohen here or in the other category, I honestly wouldn't put it past them giving it to Cohen twice, because they've done that. They've done that before as well. Though it's usually for a movie and a TV thing. But I think, was it Winslet probably the last person that won 2 Globes both for movies? I could be wrong, but that's the last one I remember off the top of my head. I think I'm going to say Cohen, based on something I'm going to possibly say later, which I also haven't completely decided. But I do think Kaluuya is right here. But then, like I said, there's always the possibility it could be Leslie Odom Jr. And I think it's become clear that none of us know where Leto is in this. Because nobody foresaw his Globe nomination. When his Globe nomination happened, people were like, oh, that's weird. We'll never see that again this season. And then he showed up at SAG. I don't think anybody knows where Leto's going, for sure. He could have peaked now, or there's another thing I didn't really want to go into, but I mean, if you want to discuss like the politics of the whole thing, I don't know. I heard something that is not by any means a reliable source. I've only seen a couple of comments about something. If you want to get into like predicting ahead, and the fact that maybe winning a Golden Globe would not be the best thing to happen to you. Because remember, at the height of the Me Too thing, when it was like really getting going, Franco won for the Disaster Artist. And when past potential victims of his saw this Golden Globe win, they were like, oh, he's being celebrated. People have to know about this stuff. And then Franco went down so fast. These couple of comments I hear that are not in any way verifiable or are not from any sort of, source of anything, just a couple of comments said that there could potentially be remember when Ronan Farrow did the whole thing on Weinstein, and it was a really big article. He'd been building and gathering evidence, and then it was just one big drop. I've heard a couple of comments saying there might be an article like that for Leto brewing, but I have no way to verify this at all. They're just a couple of things I've heard.
Published mysteriously the day before Zack Snyder's cut of Justice League comes out and be like, oh no.
Yeah, so that could be total bullshit. It could be, because it's not from any source whatsoever. It's just a couple of things that I heard. So, like I said, if Leto should win, it might be like the worst thing that could happen to him, based on what happened with Franco.
Also,
but
keep in mind,
yeah,
less on the scandal stuff, but remember 2015? The year of me honestly saying, will it help? And they gave it to Stallone.
Well, that didn't last, though, did it?
2 wins that should have happened that did not. We just talked about a second ago. Go ahead, Ashley.
Probably because it's the only one that I've seen. So I still need to catch up on One Night in Miami, and I don't think... Well, I haven't got Apple Plus for On the Rocks, and the other two I don't believe have official UK... I think Judas might be coming out towards some point this month. I've not heard anything about Little Things, so if it is out, it's news to me. I'm going with Sasha. It's one of the only performances that I liked a lot of the performances, but Sasha's portrayal of Abby, I think, was the only one that I sort of really loved. Because it's overstated and understated at the same time. If that's even possible.
Like AJ said before, the only person that's sadly out of this is my birthday brethren himself. Yeah, we share a birthday. It's kind of cool. Anyway,
lasagna.
Yeah.
Hang on. Segue. That's the best I can
no
do.
time. Here's the thing.
That's the best I can do for... Well, no, because it says shot from Isle of Dogs with Bill Murray's character going, wow. Anyway, right, we're back.
I'm now not eating in 12 hours. Anyway, so it's easy to go with the panel here, and that originally was my thought process. I actually thought one of you was going to go with Daniel Kaluuya here, but you didn't, so you kind of surprised me here.
Really, really close.
Yeah, same. And when I walk into my local theater and I see that ginormous standee with his face, it just makes me say, Owen picked me, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. Yeah, Sacha Baron Cohen here. It's gonna be a great night for him, a great season for him in every way possible. No matter if it's wins or nominations, it's gonna be a big year for him.
There was a moment while I was watching Judas and the Black Messiah where it was like I was trying to envision Kaluuya as a winning performance.
Mm.
It's like as it goes, it's a really strong performance throughout, for sure. And then, like, about 45 minutes in, he goes to prison for a couple of years. So it's like, okay, and that's when he goes supporting, basically. It's like, oh, is this category fraud or not? But yeah, he is definitely supporting. And then in about the midway part of the movie, when he gets back out of prison, he has a speech scene. And I imagine based on this speech scene alone, one might be able to see it as a winning performance.
Oh, so that'll be the montage. Or that'll be the clip that they'll probably use, you think?
I would be shocked if he has any other clip this entire year. All right, so are we going into the comedy category?
Yes, we are.
All right, let's do actress in a musical or comedy. Maria Bakalova for Borat, Kate Hudson for music, Michelle Pfeiffer for French Exit, Rosamund Pike for I Care a Lot, and Anya Taylor-Joy for Emma. I mean, we keep saying there's no positives. I'm pretty positive it's not Kate Hudson.
Review coming soon, ladies and gentlemen.
Too soon. At any other point, I would say Anya Taylor-Joy was a threat just because she's like the popular kid in school right now. but with all the like buzz started happening as soon as it came out, and some people thought it was a little outlandish, or they would only go as far as the Globes or something. But then it started to build more and more and more. And even though this isn't the category she's going to be competing in for pretty much the rest of the year, that's I think Critics' Choice put her in leading. But yeah, I feel quite confident in saying that Maria Bakalova will have this. So, yeah.
Ashley.
Yeah, for me, looking at the list, it's a 2-horse race between Maria and Anya, and I'm gonna go with Bakalova as well. I think it's
Yeah, there's no,
an unexpectedly powerful role which you don't expect from like a gross out comedy sort of like Borat is. I mean, the fact that the blooming flu song is actually nominated, possibly it got to the short list.
Yeah,
of
it's
the
shortlist.
Oscars. the Simian flu song or whatever it was. Like what?
yeah, there's no reason to even elaborate here. I don't see any competition. Maria Bakalova won.
All right. Actor in a comedy or musical. Ashley's favorite category.
Oh dear God.
Hey, I don't
Yeah.
like him, but the fact that the majority of his category is British, I approve.
We have Sacha Baron Cohen for Borat, James Corden for The Prom, Lin-Manuel Miranda for Hamilton, Dev Patel for The Personal History of David Copperfield, and Andy Samberg for Palm Springs. I was telling Ashley before we started, I saw the David Copperfield movie, and I love it. So it's nice to see Dev Patel here, even though, also like we were saying, it's kind of everything around him that stands out more, but it's still nice to see the movie acknowledged at all. This is another one where it's down to 2. It's Cohen versus somebody else again.
Mm-hmm.
Where we talked about how Cohen could win another Golden Globe for playing the same character as the last time he won a Golden Globe.
That's
Which,
correct.
for TV, is a normal thing. For movies, I think is not.
No, it's really not.
No.
And maybe it's wishful thinking, but I'm assuming if it's not him, it would be the dude over my left shoulder.
I'd say so.
And a part of my thinking was that if he wins for Trial of Chicago 7, that opens it up for Miranda to take this one. But I was having trouble choosing between the two. Because like I said, I don't see Cohen leaving empty-handed at all. I can even see Cohen winning both of his.
Mm-hmm.
And they clearly loved Borat.
Oh yeah.
So, and they love Cohen because they've nominated him for like every one of his recent projects. So, I was basically just gonna say Miranda. God, Cohen could so easily take this, like really easily. But if I'm gonna stick up for what I really love, sometimes you have to go down with that thing. So I'll back Miranda and say him.
Ashley.
I'm on the ship as well. I think Cohen's performance of Borat isn't as strong as that first film.
Yeah.
Which is why I think it, to give some love to Hamilton, also to justify why the category of musical exists, considering it's the only good musical or musical related thing that seems to be in the list this year. Even though it's not even from this year. It's just the filmed release on Disney Plus is. So, yeah, that's why I'm going with Miranda. We need to build closer to the EGOT, damn it.
Well, it's not going to be tonight. Hamilton's got a lot of accolades going into everything. I don't think it wins anything. And AJ has a theory about Cohen going 2 for 2. You know, honestly, that was my thought process since the second that this category was listed in this podcast. And I think it's going to happen. He won in 2007. He's going to win in 2021. Sacha Baron Cohen.
All right. Picture, musical, or comedy?
Go ahead.
What is that first nominee?
Oh,
Ashley?
right. Oh, yeah, it's my pick. I might as well just get it out of the way. Borat's subsequent movie film delivery of prodigious bribe to American regime for make benefit once glorious nation of Kazakhstan.
Somewhere Greg is smiling,
Hold on, I need to clarify.
Ashley. AJ.
Oh, what?
As well as Hamilton, Music, Palm Springs, and The Prom. Having seen it, I can promise you, Music being nominated in picture here is 100 million times more embarrassing for the Golden Globes than the tourist thing.
Ooh.
This should be Music being here where it is should be very close to ruining the Globes' reputation altogether.
You see what you've done, Sia? You fool.
I mean, like I said, everybody's go-to is the tourist thing. But this is a whole other level of, this should forever be the go-to example for if people are trying to undermine the Globes or the choices they make. And we know, sometimes the comedy category can get a little scarce. So sometimes they go into things that aren't comedy, or sometimes they get really desperate and just pick something. And by the way, you might wonder, it's insensitive enough to where it could maybe be a comedy. It's kind of hard to tell, but I imagine it's mainly here. It's mainly here, I imagine, as a musical, because anytime we see inside by the way, the movie's named after the name of the main character. The main character's name is Music, and I shit you not, Kate Hudson's name is Kazoo. So there's that.
So what we're saying is Sia had too much of a drunken binge and saw one of those 10-hour Kazoo Kid on YouTube videos, didn't it? That's what happened, right?
Well, Kate Hudson's character... Shit.
There you go.
So
Kate Hudson's character took a shit,
it's
yes.
It's funny you say the drunken bitch thing, because Kate Hudson's character is an alcoholic that eventually falls off the wagon. So I don't know if that's a... But it's also a musical, because anytime we see inside Music's mind and how it works, it's a Sia music video.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what the... I mean, you look at the two movies here that Leslie Odom Jr. is in. One of them is a masterpiece, and the other is Music. He had an eventful ass year. And he's going to get nominated for something that's not even either of these two. But, okay, besides all of that, Borat would be the safe choice. And obviously it made, Borat even made news politically. So that's probably going to help Magloa, an actress, as well. But I don't know, just the event that Hamilton is and the love for it. And that's another thing where you could say, well, what if there's voters that don't think it's a real movie and they won't vote for it? Once again, very small voting body. If it got nominated, they very well will go for it. So I think Borat is probably a really safe choice, but once again, I'm gonna stick for the movie that's my horse in the race. Which I won't get to back again until Daveed Diggs at SAG, which I'm really excited about. that'll probably be the last time, sadly. So I'm gonna say Hamilton here.
Ashley.
I mean, I already said it, but I need to actually clarify. Because actually, the original title is Borat Gift of Sexy Monkey to Vice Premier Michael Pence to make benefit recently diminished nation of Kazakhstan, which then becomes
That's the
Borat,
title I've been waiting for.
which then becomes Borat Gift of Daughter to Michael Pence to make benefit diminished nation of Kazakhstan, and then Borat Delivery of Sexy Gift to Rudy Giuliani in last ditch attempt to save Borat from execution and make benefit diminished nation of Kazakhstan. Yeah, the Borat sequel.
So as a shoot, the original title was basically a synopsis of the movie.
Yeah. I got to America
That's
again.
You know, honestly, I said it, I pretty much revealed my hand before. As much as I'd love to see Hamilton win something, I can't back it right now. I have to go with Borat. It's weird to think in the race that we're in, this is a televised award show. The battle is between Hamilton and Borat for a victor. Out of context, this is the weirdest thing I think I've heard in a season in a long time.
Yeah, a film that came out, a production that came out, I guess, 4 or 5 years ago was the first Hamilton stuff, wasn't it? Like 2016, 2017?
And I can't remember. 2016 is when the show was shot, like, for the movie, I think.
Okay. And then, of course, the fact that the first, 5 minutes in Borat basically includes everything that got annoyingly said to you for about 3 years. You know, the whole my wife and the banana hammock and all the stereotypes, and they just get them out the way. And then there's music and the prom. Which says, I feel bad now in not mentioning Palm Springs because that's a good film as well. I just don't think it's in the race. Music and the prom. I didn't specify they were good. They are the Emily in Paris of this category. 25th letter of the alphabet.
Drama.
Mm-hmm.
Actress in a drama.
Yep.
We have Viola Davis from All Rainey's Black Bottom. Andrew Day for The United States versus Billie Holiday. Vanessa Kirby for Pieces of a Woman. Frances McDormand for Nomadland. And Carey Mulligan for Promising Young Woman. This was a three-way race for a long time, I felt like.
Yep.
Viola Davis has it going against her that her screen time's significantly smaller, but she still makes just as much of an impact as she needs to. I don't. Maybe some people think it's a little early for McDormand to be winning again so soon, but if it was anybody that wasn't Frances McDormand, I might be saying that.
Fair.
She's still got the Macbeth thing, which is going to be the greatest fucking thing ever. But and I feel like Kirby might be more in this than we think. The thing is I still haven't watched it because I'm still afraid of how emotionally draining it must be. But once again, maybe it's wishful thinking, but I feel like Mulligan's here. Because I feel like Day is kind of the one that's kind of on the outside of this. Where it's where the other four are almost certain to get the Oscar nominations.
Yep, that's how I see it.
So, yeah. Like I said, I'm hoping it's not one of those cases where I'm going with the thing that I want it to be and mistaking it for a gut feeling, but I'm going to say Mulligan.
Ashley.
Never bet against Marge. I'm going with McDormand.
Well, I'm going to, obviously, because I'm biased, and I'm very happy to say my bias this year is actually going to be finally giving me some justification in the last several years. Terry Mulligan wins this, and deservingly so. I'm very happy to be able to say that.
All right, let's go on to the category that's as easy as foreign and animated.
Yep.
We have Riz Ahmed for Sound of Metal, Chadwick Boseman for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Anthony Hopkins for The Father, Gary Oldman for Mank, and Tahar Rahim for The Mauritanian. I won't argue with the people that say Hopkins might still be in this, but he's the only other person that's in this, when you say, apart from our seemingly clear winner, just from just about every aspect. Like I said, even when you watch the director's roundtable, the Hollywood Reporter did, Clooney just flat out says Boseman will win. Like, he just flat out said it. No, like, he might, or he might possibly, or I hope he wins. Clooney just said he will win. And I don't know about you, but when it comes to Oscar voting, I kind of trust what George Clooney says.
Yeah, accurate.
Now, as far as Globes voting, I don't think it's going to be any different. And like I said, I hate that I have to keep saying it this way, but obviously there's always going to be people that say the obvious thing to say here. But when we were starting this category and I said, here's a category that's as easy as foreign and animated to predict, I 100% stand by. If Chadwick Boseman were still alive, I would still be saying the same thing. I really do. So, obviously, Chadwick Boseman.
Ashley.
Wakanda forever.
Yeah, I have a feeling that there is no competition. There will be one more get on up that's going to happen, and it's going to be a very deserving win for Chadwick Boseman.
I'm intrigued to see, obviously, because this will be happening all season, whether they'll have a rotating list of people accepting the award on his behalf, or whether it will be, Viola Davis every time, or one of the other cast, or
I say Oscar's a lot more strict about that, because I know when Pitt won BAFTA last year, when it was like Margot Robbie that accepted for him. But I think the Oscars, like when Ledger won, they had to really go through a whole clearing thing before they let his parents accept it. So I'm not sure how Oscar will handle that, but yeah, I figure it'll be. I imagine it'd be Viola Davis or George C. Wolfe that's accepting for him.
Yeah, because I feel that it'd be a bit disrespectful just to be I don't want to say, obviously he can't be here, but the equivalent of, and then just not allowing there to be any sort of speech at all.
Yeah, it's like another reason I think Wolf is, if I remember correctly, when Ledger won the Globe, I think Nolan made the speech.
Because I think, again, because of the situation, Brad Pitt wasn't there because he didn't want to show up. With Chadwick, it's not like he doesn't want to show up. He's probably he's there watching. He's there at the ceremony. Don't worry. But I just feel, just saying, that producers accept it on his behalf would be a little bit. I guess you could get away with it, at least with the Oscars, because it was supporting actor, but because this would be lead, and it's one of the big four, if you want to look at it like that, because it's obviously lead actor, lead actress, director, and picture, at least in terms of the Oscars. Having just no speech at all would just not work. So I'm just intrigued how it goes, but
All right. So last category?
Yes.
All right. For Best Picture drama, we have The Father, Mank, Nomadland, Promising Young Woman, and The Trial of Chicago 7. Once again, I am rooting for Promising Young Woman,
Same.
but I feel like this is going to be the start of kind of a boring picture race. And I mean, especially with, the way things are going. I feel like a really safe bet, not just here, but for the remainder of the season, is going to be The Trial of Chicago 7. So I would like to see it get more like varied and see more inspired things like Promising Young Woman, for instance. But I feel like Trial of Chicago 7 is going to kind of continuously be a safe go-to for voters throughout the season. And like I said, that's probably going to start here. So that's what I'm saying.
Ashley.
Pretty much the same words, except replace Trial of Chicago 7 with Nomadland. I feel that if a white American director takes sort of like Best Picture, even if it's completely different to director or whatever, there's going to be enough, diversity issues and whatever, and the fact that the buzz has ebbed and flowed, but the fact that it's been constantly there for Nomadland, I think might just hold it out. But I can certainly see the only one I'd rule out really is The Father. I'd say Mank is Hollywood bait, so that's obvious. That's got an obvious chance. And I think Promising Young Woman has a chance, but I think it's going to have to. It'll probably pull a lot at BAFTA because of the British stuff there that could influence that in terms of Oscar votes. So, I'm sticking with Nomadland, but I wouldn't really object to any of the 5 winning, unlike music.
All right. So I've gone down with the ship many times. And part of me just wants to say, you know what? Let's go for a wild choice out of nowhere and just go with my heart this time around instead of my head. And honestly, it's not an unfair possibility at this point. But I obviously see what is being said here. And just like as mentioned previously, The Father, I think, is the only thing that's out of those. I was going to go with Mank here, but I'm not going to. I don't think Nomadland is winning. But if Nomadland does win, I don't think it would be the start of anything. I think it'd be the end of it. That's what it wins when it comes to a picture win moving forward. And as much as I'd love to go Promising Young Woman, and I really want to, and like AJ said, I'm 100% on the boat of that being the movie I want to win, not just because it's the only thing I've seen. It's because the fact it's Carey Mulligan and this performance is phenomenal. I agree with what AJ said 100%. Trial of the Chicago 7. But like Ashley said, I don't have a list of what the BAFTA nominations are going to be right now, but I do believe that Promising Young Woman gets into the Oscar race properly with a big win at BAFTA. I'm just going to say that.
I'm just having a quick look in terms of... Yeah, Promising Young Woman's in the 15. For picture... Yeah, director.
Keep that in mind.
Bo Burnham's even possibly supporting actor for Promising Young Woman as well.
I would have zero problems with that.
And screenplay as well.
Ashley, cover chat real quick.
Right. Quickly wind through this. Bry Guy saying he did get a used Blu-ray of Paddington 2 today, along with 7 other used DVDs at $1 a million. Did they cost $1 million? Otherwise, that's a lie. Reese never won a Globe for the Americans, so they can make it up to him. The issue with Lovecraft Country is none of the actors are nominated. I'm trying to think whether in the TV categories we've had shows win when it hasn't had anything. I guess
I'm almost positive Game of Thrones did it once.
Yeah, but I don't know.
That sounds right.
I think Dinklage might have been nominated. He didn't win, but I think he might have been nominated for like supporting that year. I'm not sure off the top of my head. And yeah, the other thing is the Mandalorian's issue with the recent firing of that actress. Yeah, we'll just refer to her as that actress. We don't want to give her or Levi Shapiro any more acknowledgement. The original songs on the shortlist is not that good except for the 3 from the one and only Ivan. The rest are really bad.
Really baity.
Yeah, that's probably the worry.
All baity.
Mank is the Irishman for this year's award season. It can't be. You don't need a toilet break in between it. It's actually watchable. You're all going to regret not going
If
for
I
Chloe
can
Zhao.
stay awake during The Irishman, anyone can, Ashley.
I'm not saying awake.
Yeah, 'cause
I'm saying bladder.
I watched The Irishman all the way through twice during the last award season, and I watched it again all the way through when I got the Criterion Blu-ray. I barely got through Mank at all.
Yeah, but that's...
There's a reason there's no review for this movie currently, everyone.
It's the well, we know it's the ambivalent effect.
Continue.
No, from what I remember, when I saw Irishman in the cinema, because that was the only... up until 12 Chicago 7, it was the only Netflix film that I saw in the cinema. I think it was the only one that didn't go to the toilet. Everybody else missed some of the film.
I kind of braced myself for it, but I wasn't sure. It is so weird to put the Blu-ray in and see the Criterion logo immediately followed by the Netflix logo. It is so weird.
What? This isn't right.
I was
I got a comment.
Yeah, I was ultra confused as well with Toilet Chicago 7 because I was waiting for the... That was like, that's the Netflix thing, right? It was like that on Annihilation. Admittedly, they might have just been watching it off the Netflix account or something. So I don't know. Smurfy Boy... Oh yeah, Bry Guy saying you're going to regret not going for Chloe Zhao for the one-take movie. Well, I sort of went with it in the later categories.
There's not a lot of the one take in it that I remember. It's really just that one scene that's like a couple of minutes. That's the thing though, is if they're there and I don't notice them, those are the one take shots that are great. If they don't draw attention to themselves. So there could have been more that I didn't notice, in which case, more power to her.
Unlike another one take movie that got way too many accolades last season. Next.
I was going to say, the one take bit in Boogie Nights was pretty good. To be fair, from Smurfy Boy, to be fair, Three Billboards was strong throughout the season and McDonough missed at the Oscars, so Sorkin could miss out as well.
We'll see. It's anyone's guess.
The issue with Glenn Close is, do you finally want to give her Oscar for a film like Hillbilly Elegy?
It would just be the kind of weird thing to cap off this whole Glenn Close needs an Oscar thing that's been going on since since 1982.
Bry Guy going, that was in relation to. Music and Hillbilly Elegy, expect them to show up at the Razzies? Probably. Not just
Enough
Sia,
people watch them.
Not just Sia, but Maddie Ziegler as well. Smurfy Boy said music is the new Pia Zadora. I can't remember the reference there. I'll just nod and say yes. Bry Guy saying I'm scared to watch music. Then something to do with King George going da 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 da. Is that like Morse code? Or is that Hamilton stuff? McDormand.
Oh boy. Continue.
McDormand is also a producer.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that's Hamilton. I heard, yeah.
It was the Leto thing. Continue.
Oh, I see. McDormand is also a producer for Nomadland. And ever since Brando's win for The Godfather, with Sachin Little Feather accept the award with her speech, they stop having people accept the award on behalf of the winner.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but Brando wasn't dead when The Godfather happened. Smurfy Boy, I think with the Oscars it'd have to be a family member who accepts the award, so I could see his widow accepting the Oscar. And then Nomadland, because it'd be a movie that sweeps the critics and the guild but loses all via televised awards like The Social Network. I guess Nomadland could be, it gets... so basically it's David O. Russell's American Hustle. Although admittedly that won a lot of awards beforehand, it just got nothing on Oscars night.
Ties into Bry Guy's next comment.
Yeah, Mank could get double-digit nominations and not win a thing. I think it could get something though in terms of like cinematography or in the tech categories it might get something. As a person who has all 4 Criterion Blu-rays of the Netflix movies, I only watched the supplements so far, but haven't re-watched the films yet. Wait, what are the... Roma? Irishman? What are the other 2?
Marriage Story.
Yeah.
And, oh, shit. I don't remember the other one.
Bry Guy, tell us the 4th one. I should have known Marriage Story because I've been eyeing that up because I'm just waiting for it to get actually cheap.
I love in there, like where like the booklet is, they have like the notes that Driver and Johansson like wrote to each other just tucked in there. It's kind of incredible.
And speaking of Glenn Close, I remember Julianne Moore finally won her Oscar for Still Alice.
Yeah, she's kind of the go-to example recently of being able to win for a movie that just doesn't really do anything, that nobody remembers.
Thing is, I remember her actually getting a lot of praise for her performance, though. It's sort of like... I don't remember Crazy Heart getting anything other than Bridges win, wasn't it? Oh, no,
Song.
Yeah, true.
A song.
But no, if you were trying to do the comparison with Julianne Moore, that would be Julianne Moore winning supporting actress for Kingsman: The Golden Circle.
Yeah, I was gonna say that example kind of sucks because Still Alice is genuinely good, just nobody remembers it.
We actually had it. We had it at the local theater I used to work at for a week. That says something about that movie.
Yeah, and while it was in there, that theater was trying to kill people. That's when the ceiling was coming down.
Yes, that's right. I remember that greatly.
Wow. Bry Guys and
Royal Thunder Avenue, the Bob Dylan story by Scorsese.
That's a Netflix.
I think it's time to go home.
Yeah.
Literally and figuratively.
I will need some food.
It's too late now. I got to work it in the morning, so I'm just gonna have to go to bed. That's what happens when you do a late night show, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. But it'll be interesting to see what happens in a couple of weeks. In terms of what's coming up on the calendar this week, before we get to next Saturday, where Owen will do his talk, we're gonna get the nominations for the WGAs on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And then even though
we'll discuss that as part of our Critics' Choice nomination predictions, actually.
Even though it doesn't affect any picks that we do, although it may influence what we do in terms of Oscar nominations predictions, Makeup and Hair Society are having their nominations announced on Thursday. And then we get to next Saturday. Segue.
Critics' Choice predictions officially. And we're going to be talking about the aforementioned nominations of the makeup and hair as well as the WGA. We won't give those predictions till later on. So
the great thing is I'm going to have to do clarifications and additions to the Critics' Choice Awards, because it turns out some of the awards that were given last year got shoved in that Super Awards that they did a few months back. So they aren't doing animated movie twice or anything, so I will tell you who was already won them. And then the ones that we actually do predict as well.
right.
Next Saturday as well.
Of course, because it is the schedule, that means that tomorrow should be another edition of either AJ's movie reviews, which it sounds like it's going to be. We have a Versus coming in the near future. Ashley content's coming back. And of course, Monday through Thursday, we got Voices of Liberty on here on the Popcast Network. So stay tuned for that. Speaking of that, I just got a review video. So there you go. That's actually going to happen soon before I go to bed tonight.
So a question about the review video I'm going to be doing.
Yes.
I haven't watched it yet, but something else on it will surely be Nicolas Cage's new movie.
Uh-oh.
Where he's fighting the animatronics of an amusement park or something. So I have to ask, of the movies I'm going to talk about on that video, which is going to be more batshit crazy between the Nicolas Cage movie and music, because they sound about on par with their batshittery. So
I think we got
and the headline of it will be Judas and the Black Messiah. So it's going to be very varied.
Sounds good.
You know the little Easter egg though regarding the Nicolas Cage film? He has 0 lines.
Really?
Yes.
This is going to be fun.
Fair. So that's coming your way tomorrow here on the network.
Yes.
And that's going to be your show for tonight. So Murphy Wood gets the last word here. I have Leto getting in at the Oscars because the little things that showed up in numerous places on the short list. We shall see.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Real quick, everyone, thank you for joining us tonight, whether it is the AM or the PM, or if it is the same day or days afterwards. Thank you for joining us tonight, whether live or in archive. Ashley, you can be found at Ash is My Name UK.
Indeed.
AJ cannot be found, and also, just like Keith Richards, cannot be killed by conventional weapons. So that being said, if you want to leave him a comment that he will find 7 years later and put on a compilation video, you're more than welcome to do so in the bottom of the description of this video. So yeah, check that out. And you want to follow me on Twitter, you can. It's at Sutherland Disney. I'll probably end up changing that eventually, but I mean, it's my brand, so that's the reason why it stays the way it is. So it lives here now. So that being said, I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight, whether live or in archive. And until next week, boys and girls, that's all we got to say about that.
Isle of Dogs is what I'm going for, because, you know, you all didn't want any more of Donkey with headphones. Have you seen how depressing the live-action shorts are? Damn it!